Happy Hanukkah, Nebutants! I hope you are really enjoying your holiday season, and I wanted to do a special Hanukkah kid Kraftin video for you guys. I know things can definitely be crazy when the kids are off of school and you're planning your different celebrations, and I'm not Jewish, but I can only imagine how crazy and insane and stressful it can kind of be during Hanukkah. Like, it's that way for Christmas, and that's one day. So, I can't imagine, 8 days of that, pretty much. So, I wanted to do just a really fun, kid-friendly craft, which is these popsicle stick stars of David. I happen to just hang these in kind of a mobile fashion, but I'm also going to give you some suggestions for different ways to do them, different ways to display them. I really hope that this is a fun project and that you guys will give it a try with your kids. And just, if you do this, please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought. Tell me if there's any suggestions of something that you came across that worked better for you. I'm always open to that kind of thing. So I really hope you love this. I had a fun time making it, and you could do so many things to just make it your own. So I really hope you guys enjoy this video. Okay guys, so to start off your little Star of David ornament decoration dealies, you're just going to need some popsicle sticks, which you can buy at any craft store or dollar store usually has them. You're going to need some kind of glue. I am going to just use this clear tacky glue because that's what I have. You could also just use regular Elmer's glue. You could use hot glue if you want this to be a little bit faster. If you're going to do that though, definitely the parents need to handle the hot glue gun in that case. So I happen to know that my nozzle on my glue here is dried shut, so I'm just going to take a paper plate and put a little bit of my glue on that. Come on, get down there, you can do it. There we go. Okay, set that aside. So we've got our glue now. And then you're also going to want, if you're using a glue that needs to take some time to dry, this is something that I suggest. It's not necessary, but it's probably going to make your life a little easier with this project. You could either use some clothespins or like binder clips or something like that, just to hold your popsicle sticks together while they're drying. So I'm going to just take one popsicle stick, and that's going to be my glue spreader, and I'm going to dip a little bit into my glue and then just dab a little bit of that. You don't need too much because it'll ooze out over the sides. I'm going to dab that onto one end of that popsicle stick and then smush another one on there. And I'm just going to take my clothespin and pinch that together so it'll hold. And then I can kind of look at this and say, okay, I know I'm going to need to spread these out some more, but since I'm using a glue that doesn't dry right away, I can just kind of figure out how much space I'm going to need and spread out my sticks. And then I'm going to take a little more glue and put it on the ends. Got a little too much on that side. So dot a little bit of glue on the ends of my new popsicle sticks. And then I can set my third one on there. Grab another clothespin and another clothespin, and now this will hold it nicely until the glue dries. And I can also just like set it on my paper plate if I want to. So you're gonna want to make 2 sets of these triangles for every star that you're going to be doing, obviously, because the Star of David is a 6-pointed star. So I'm going to make a few more of these, and then once the glue dries, I will be back to show you the next step. Okay guys, so now I've got my 2 popsicle stick triangles. The glue has thoroughly dried, and so now we can move on to the next step of making the actual star. And so you can see, obviously, like, because popsicle sticks are a 3D thing, one side is going to be higher than the other. So it makes, you know, they won't lay like perfectly flat, and if you just kind of like slap it on there, just one on top of the other, like so, you can end up with like some pretty big spaces between. So what I do is I like actually take one and kind of insert it into the center of the other at a point, and then see if it'll lay nicely like that. Obviously, that's not working. So let me try this point. Much better. It's much closer. So now what I'm gonna do, so that it won't shift around on me as I'm trying to glue it, is I'm just gonna take a clothespin and put it on a couple different points, just to kind of hold it in place, so that when I glue, it doesn't, one of them doesn't like turn on me and then I end up with a wonky star. I'm gonna put this together with hot glue, even though I just use regular craft glue for the triangles. I just want to show you how you can do it with hot glue. And also, the advantage of the hot glue is it sets up really fast, so you don't have to, like, if you have a whole kind of time set aside to do this project with kids, you don't have to wait a long time for the glue to dry to move on to the next step. You could just keep going. Or if you wanted to, you could actually make the whole star in advance and then just let the kids decorate them from there. But so I'm just going to show you how to do it with hot glue, just so we have that demonstration. So there still is going to be a couple places where you've got some gaps. It's just never going to lay perfectly. I don't know how well you can see here, but there's a gap there. So what I'm just going to do is take my hot glue gun and just kind of like squirt the glue right into that gap, so it kind of gets in there. And then I'm going to come in and do it from the other side as well, so that both sides are glued, and it should hold really well. So now I'm just going to move on to, and just be careful while your glue's still hot, don't touch it, it'll burn you. So I'm just going to go around to the rest of the points where they connect and keep gluing her down. There, now I've got all my connecting points glued, and by the time you get to the last one, the first one should be set really nicely. But you can just go through, give it a good look over, make sure you didn't miss any spots, see if there's any spots where you maybe want to reinforce it a little bit. And hot glue, like, you are going to get these kind of like bulges in there. That's just kind of the nature of the beast with hot glue. If you absolutely hate that, then use just like a regular craft glue, and then maybe make your stars in advance so they're all completely dry by the time the kids get their hands on them. Hot glue also makes these little strings, but you can just kind of pull or cut them off like so, no big deal. They come off really easily. And then, so also the hot glue side, which has kind of the lumps and bumps, that can be like the back of your star that doesn't really show. And then you have your front side, which is your nice smooth popsicle sticks. So now it's time to move on to the next step. Okay, we're back with one of my stars that is completely dry, all put together, and now I'm just going to paint it. And I've got some cobalt blue and some white acrylic paint here. Links down below, as with everything else. I'm also going to link some washable paint that's good for kids. I'm just using this because this is what I have right now. I'm going to do this first one, blue. And you just want to get in there and paint that sucker all over the place. And it's going on a little thin and streaky. That's okay. We can come back in and do a second coat. No big deal. So that's the color one of my stars is going to be. I'm going to set it aside for just a second and grab another one. And then I'm just going to mix some of my blue and white paint just to get something somewhat in the middle. And just, if you want it lighter, add more white. You want it a little darker, add more blue. Whatever makes you happy. And it's totally fine to just mix that up with your brush. So I've got my lighter blue shade. So I'm going to go in on this other star and get all of that all over. I'm going to set this one aside now too. And then I'm just going to grab a separate brush that doesn't have any color in it yet. And I'm going to do this one white. You could also pick up some metallic paints. And actually maybe when I do the other side of these after they're all dry, I will do it in metallic paints just so you guys can see what that looks like. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So I am just going to finish up on these, and then I'm just going to set them on a paper plate to dry. Paper plates come in so handy when you're doing these crafty things, man, I'm telling ya. Great, we've got all of our stars painted. If you don't want to deal with paint, and especially like if you're kind of doing this with like little kids, you could just let them use like some washable markers, just like Crayola markers would be good, colored pencil, you know, whatever. And of course, you know, the kids can do like designs with the markers or paint on them if they want. I just did these ones plain. You could certainly leave them this way, but you know, there's already glitter all over my house from doing ornaments and stuff, so let's just put some glitter on these bad boys. So I'm just going to use a regular old Elmer's glue stick for this part, just because it dries fast. And this is also, you know, a good glue for kids to use. It's not runny, so it's not going to get potentially all over their clothes and in their hair and whatnot. And to protect my work surface, I just have like a puppy, like potty pad down here. I use these all the time for different projects just to protect my work surface. They're great. I'm gonna maybe even do a whole video about different things that I use, which I'll get into more detail about. But I've also got 3 different colors of glitter. I've got a dark blue, a light blue, and a silver glitter. So let me just grab, I think this will probably show up best on my light blue star, so I will start with that. Just going to set the other 2 aside, and I'm going to just pop the cap off this glitter. This particular glitter is really nice because it comes in this little shaker thing. You could definitely use like an old salt and pepper shaker, like if you're gonna really get into glitter and you want to have it around for a while. Or I just have these little containers. If you just want to throw it away right afterward, you could just like put it in little piles on like a paper plate or something, just whatever. So I'm going to take my star, and because this glue dries so fast, I'm just going to do like one section at a time. So I'm just going to take this and rub some glue on it. This is the purple glue stick, but it does dry clear, so don't worry about that. So I'm just going to rub a little glue on there, sprinkle some glitter, and then just kind of take my finger and rub it around. This glue is not going to completely coat the star. So if you did want it completely coated with glitter, you would want to use some kind of runny glue, like a tacky glue, regular Elmer's like white school glue, Mod Podge would work if you happen to have that. But if you know, if you or your kid or whoever's doing this don't mind it not being completely coated, this works great. So I'm just going to get in there to all the little spots. You can also just take your finger and kind of spread the glue around, because some of these little nooks and crannies, it's going to be harder to get it in there. So I'm just going to keep going like that until it's all covered. So now I've got all of my stars covered in glitter. Here's the dark blue one. Here is silver. And the light blue. And I've got a nice little pile of glitter here on my potty pad. So the next thing I'm going to do is just wash my hands, because I've got glue and glitter all over them, and then I'll be right back. Okay, now my last step is just putting some ribbon through here so that I can hang these up. You can use like satin ribbon if you have that laying around. You can use just like regular old like ribbon that you would use to wrap a gift with. I have that, so that's just what I'm going to use. Probably my favorite though, which the only reason I'm not going to show you is because it would be extremely difficult to see, and that's kind of the point. You can use fishing line to put through these and hang up, and I like that because it looks like it's just floating there because you can't see the fishing line really. But just so that for the sake of visual aid, I'm going to just use this silver ribbon. And you could of course coordinate the colors. I don't happen to have a dark blue and a light blue right now, so I'm just going to use silver for all of them. It's fine. So I'm just going to cut off a couple of chunks. Come on, you. So I have one piece for each star. And I'm just going to kind of take this and just put it through one of the points where the space is there. So I'm just going to take my ribbon and put it through one of the points of the star. Get in there, you. There we go. And then I'm going to, I want there to be a loop. So, because I'm going to hang this up. So I'm just going to kind of even up the ends here. And then just go down a little ways. And I'm going to take the ends of the ribbon and wrap them around my two fingers, giving a little bit of space. And then I'm going to tuck those ends in between my fingers and slide them through there. If it'll cooperate with me. There. And then I'm just going to pull that tight to get a knot, and that will leave me with a loop and then a couple of ends. And so then I'm gonna, you can either just cut these ends off or you can curl them if you're using this particular type of ribbon, because it is a curling ribbon. So to do that, you just want to take your scissors, open them up, and kind of like you're paring a piece of fruit, put your ribbon onto one of the blades of the scissors, hold it with your thumb. Don't really smash it in there, especially if your scissors are real sharp, you'll cut yourself. But have it on there kind of firm, and then just pull. And you'll get a little curl of ribbon, like that. Same way you would do if you were just putting this on a gift. So do that on both ends. And so that's what I have now. You can just do this and then hang these up individually, just like this. They would look really cool hanging in your window or like off of your mantle. That would be really pretty. You don't even have to hang these either. You can just set them around, just set them up on top of the mantle. That would be cool. However you want to do it. So I'm just going to, but I wanted to show you guys also how you can make this into kind of a mobile. So I'm going to set this one aside, and I'm going to get my next piece and just put the ribbon through a point, how I did with the first one. And then there's a couple different ways you could do a mobile with this. You could hang them so that they're just in like a line, 1, 2, 3, or you could take and how I'm gonna do it. So this is the part where the ribbon is through, that's the top of my star. So then I have ribbon pulled through my next star at the top. I'm going to actually take it and put the ribbon through this part here so that I can then have them kind of staggered. And you'll see what I mean when I get to the finished product. It's a little hard to explain and demonstrate when they're laying flat. So I'm just going to do the same kind of knot. I want to leave a loop. And then I'll curl it. So now what I have is this situation. They're attached like this. So now I'm going to take my silver one, and same thing, just put the ribbon through one of the gaps there. And then put the other end through the opposite gap from the last one that we did over here. And tie those together. And this one I'm going to try to make a smaller loop than I did the last one so that they're kind of staggered. Okay, this is really fiddly. Sorry. And then curl those ends again, like so. And because it's very hard to show you what this looks like laying flat, I'm going to adjust my camera angle and show you what it looks like when it's hanging. So, be right back. So there you have it, friends, our beautiful Star of David decoration. I hope you guys really like this project. I think they're really pretty. There's so many different ways you can like customize it. Just you can let the kids have a lot of fun with it and let them, you know, have it be their own thing. And then after the holiday, if they wanted to just like put them up in their room, I think it would be a cool little decoration. So, as always, everything that I used will be linked down below, as well as some different suggestions for different types of things you could use for this product. In particular, I'm going to put a link for some washable, kid-friendly paints. I use the acrylic paint because that's just what I have, but it is not washable. So if a kid gets it on their clothes, it's going to be there forever. It does wash off of skin, but I'm just going to go ahead and put that more kid-friendly paint down there for you guys, as well as some different suggestions of glue, and I'll put a link for a packet, just like a multi-pack of glitters that comes with just little packets of different colors that you could use. And also put some links for some different types of ribbon and for some fishing line if you wanted to do it that way. As always, please like, subscribe, so that you don't miss any future videos that we're going to do. I have so much planned for the new year, for adults and kids. It's going to be really fun. I'm so excited. And I hope you guys have a happy Hanukkah and a very happy new year.